Able to do these nights with you guys. Say hello to everybody on Facebook because we're doing a hey everybody, hey. So we got everybody on Facebook tuning in, and hopefully it's a little better than last month because we had kids playing and I think somebody dropped like something metal and it was like making a bunch of sounds and everybody was mad and complaining. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's not my fault, right? So I'm glad you guys are here, and what I'm here to tell you is the people that get the best results, and you'll hear me say this over and over again, are the people that show up to these types of workshops that we do, the people that are going online, the people that are tuning in to the the health hacks every week. And did anybody know that those times have changed for the health hacks? And some of you are like doing the Scooby-Doo, and you're like, oh, a health hack? What is that? I don't even know what that is. Well, the health hack is something we do every week. It's about 10 minutes long. And what it is it's not something where I make you fall asleep. It's not a doctor's report. So some of you have like neurological PTSD from the doctor's report. Remember when you first got your results and you thought you wanted to choke me and kill me because I wouldn't shut up? Right? Yeah, remember that night? Some of you are like, yes, be quiet, doc. I'm still going. I'm having a relapse right now. Well, the health hack is about 10 minutes of information every week. And it's pretty much something, whatever kind of inspires me or whatever I kind of see going on in the practice that I think is problematic. Okay? So I always use this as kind of a, what would you say? Would you say pulpit or maybe get on my soapbox for a minute before I talk about the meat and potatoes of what we're going to share tonight? Obviously, we're here to talk about detoxes. Notice how the whole room's packed, right? It always happens that way. But what I'm here to share with you is this season is not flu season. The MDs try to call it flu season and put everybody in false evidence appearing real or fear. It's not flu season. It's your immune system's lowered, so you get all this junk in your system season. It's you have reduced adrenal glands, your digestion's messed up, you catch something from somebody else, right, because your immune system's lowered, we're not sleeping enough. All those things allow us to get some of this flu. Neck tightness, headaches, migraines, stuffiness, right? All of it. That's all flu, guys. And when do you think the best time to come in to get your brainstem rocked is? When's the best time? Yeah, when you're expressing health. I like to say expressing health, right? I like to use that term. And even if you want to call it sick, it's always great when your body's sick if your nervous system is working appropriately, right? And that's the most important thing that we do here. So we're going to talk about detoxes tonight, but the one thing I want you to remember, and a big misnomer that people kind of have, is that, I heard somebody say it the other day, this person was like, and I don't want to throw him under the bus because I love him dearly, but he's like, man, those herbs you gave me are amazing. That nutrition you gave me, it's awesome. It's doing the trick. And I said to him, well, hold on for a second, buddy. Is it the nutrition that's doing it? Is that all it is? We just take a magic pill, a potion, lotion, a little rub-a-dub-dub, Bucky in the tub, and it fixes it? Oh man, I got this new lotion and it cures cancer. You just put it all over your body and you swim around in it and you're cancer-free. That's all you got to do, man. That's the silver bullet. No, you goofballs. There's not a lotion or potion to fix that, right? And the same way, your body works the same way. There's no detox, there's no pill, potion, lotion that you can take to allow your body to work. The only thing that's going to work is a functioning nervous system. Okay? So as we talk about this information, can everybody see? Even my folks to the left of the wall there. We try to test out the seats, right? I'll have Caden. You okay? Can you see, Jim? Okay, cool. So your brain communicates with your spinal cord. Your spinal cord is going to send those signals to the organs. So we call that above, down, inside, now. That's not called outside in, tape it, put duct tape on it, right? Little medication for this, right? I got my aspirin. Hey, there's a deficiency in my aspirin organ, so I'm going to take aspirin. Right? There's not a deficiency there, right? Or you need to take high blood pressure medication the rest of your life. Or you can't poop, so what we're going to do is take this medication to make you poop the rest of your life. That sounds weird. I thought that was supposed to work automatically. Right? And so what we want to do is we want to get that system working appropriately. So we don't have to take anything from the outside in, but this inborn intelligence called innate intelligence can work the way it's supposed to. So what the detox does, and I like to call detoxes or even nutrition that you take, whether it's a pill or whether you're eating kale, what that does is supplement innate. It's kind of like a factory, right? If you got a factory and you give the factory scrap parts, is there any way the factory can make a BMW? No, you're going to make a lemon, right? You're going to make a lemon or a Pinto. And some of you have heard me use this analogy because it's such a great analogy, and sometimes we forget what it is that's actually helping us heal, not fixing us, but allowing our body to go through the process of healing. And notice how I said that's a process? Some of us were like a microwave society, right? Put it in right now. I want it fixed. I want to fix it. Doc, can you fix me? I don't know how to fix anything. But what I do know how to do is put your body in the right place, so that intelligence from your creator, I call it Jesus, you might call it Buddha, the universe, you might call it believe in spaceships, whatever you believe, God bless you. That's awesome. As long as you believe in something, even if you're an atheist like some of my family members, and you call it nature, there's a power inside of you that allows your body to heal. And that power can only work when you give it the best parts, not the scrap parts. So the best parts would be in the form of whole food-based nutrition. And obviously, if we can get it from Mother Earth, that's the best type of nutrition to get, right? Kale, right? Cabbage, Brussels sprouts, beets. But do a lot of us like eating that? I mean, you and me do. John and I are probably the only two in the room, right? Someone else, you're like, oh my God, what is he trying to do to me? Right? That's like torture for you guys. And if you're my brother-in-law, right? My brother-in-law, he'll eat like a Snickers bar, and then he'll tell me about it. Hey, Cordy, I ate like 10 Snickers bars today. And he's Irish. And it's usually not that because there's a couple of F-bombs before and after, right? Because, you know, he's Irish and I love my brother-in-law. You'll hear me talk about him all the time. He's going to see this, or my sister-in-law is going to forward the video to him, and he's going to be chuckling because it's so true. He's like, I ate 10 Snickers bars. Is that going to have an impact on my health? I'm like, shut up, dude. Get out of here, right? Why are you messing with me? Why do you tell me stuff like that? I have nightmares over that. So the nutrition is going to allow the body to heal. But what allows that nutrition or those parts, even when you give it the good stuff and not the scrap parts, what allows it to get there to heal the body? A functioning what? A nervous system, right? A functioning nervous system or spine, right? But when we say spine, I don't even like to use those terms because then you guys are like, my butt hurts. Right here, doc. My butt cheek, my right butt cheek. It hurts. And I'm like, why are you pointing to your butt? I'm not going to touch your butt. That'd be weird, right? I'll touch the nervous system and the bone because there's a nerve tied to that area. Now, guys, don't get me wrong. Are there muscles that are impacted by nerves? But what also comes from those nerves? Or where also do those nerves go to? Your organs, right? So, in addition to those nerves going to muscles, they also go to organs. That's what I meant to say. Just didn't come out that way. Did a Scooby-Doo on you. See if everybody's listening because there was a long pause. Everybody's like, what's he trying to say? I can't figure it out. No, I said it wrong. It wasn't a trick question. So when the nerves go to the muscles, those same nerves are going to go to these organs. So can you have a sore butt and have problems with digestion and have problems with liver and adrenals? Some of you guys think I'm making it up. You must think I'm just like feeling piano keys. Oh, he's just telling me stuff to make me feel good. No, there's a nerve tied to that bony area. So when I tell you there's an adrenal issue, it's because I'm looking at those feet, and one of those legs is short, there's a high hip on the right or the left, right? And that's why sometimes you'll ask me a question when I'm in the zone and I'm working with innate, and I'm not going to answer you because I'm focused in on what I'm doing. You know, you don't want to really ask the brain surgeon about the football game. Hey, how'd those Raiders do? Right? Or how'd those Georgia Bulldogs do? Not so well. Roll Tide. Roll Tide. We showed them, didn't we? Closing seconds, but hey, still happened, right? Still happened. However you do it, it's a sixth ring. Sorry, got to give a shout out. Right? So, as long as we get it done, that's all that matters, right? So, I'm not checking piano keys. I'm making sure that that nervous system is working right and that it's dialed in. So, we don't want to be talking about football games. We want to be focused in on what we're doing. So, I'm going to say hi to you. I'm going to love on you a little bit, but then I'm going in the zone. So, don't be offended if, you know, I'm not shooting the breeze with you. I still love you. Okay? We're doing things a little bit different this year. And what I mean by that is we're trying to shorten adjustment times. Okay? Obviously, I can't help when emergencies happen and things of that nature. Does anybody know about this form yet? Some of you have used it. Some of you don't know about it. Okay? This form is when you need to talk to me about something. Whether you want to tell me how fabulous I am and attractive and intelligent. and all that. Or maybe you want to share about something that's not working, or something that hurt your feelings, or who knows what. That's what that form's there for. Because some of you, while you trust us and you believe in what we're doing, and you love us, sometimes there's things that maybe you just don't want to say verbally. So this allows you to do that. That's a vessel for you to do that. Okay? And what we're also doing is all the special appointments now, going into this year, we're having specific times for those appointments. Okay? Reason being is because when we're working on innate and we're working on the neurology and the brain to spinal cord communication, getting through it 100%, I want that to be just that. Does that make sense? So I don't want people to have long wait times. I want us to be able to get in and out, okay? And that's for your time, because I don't want you to come here being like, oh my God, it took 30 minutes. Now, there's going to be emergencies that come up. We've had to send people to the hospital before, right? We've had airways closing. We see all sorts of stuff, folks. And I want to be there for you when that's happening. Because if you're worried, you should always go to the emergency room. You should always do that, right? But if you're on the line of being worried or not being worried, call the office. Come in. I'll come to your house. The most important thing to me is that functioning nervous system in you. That's the most important thing to me. Throw out all the detoxes, throw out all the nutritional support. That stuff is to aid in the process happening quicker. The most important thing we do is connect innate to your body. Above, down, inside, and out. That's why God, that's the way that God within you works. Above, down, inside, and out. And if you don't believe in God, call it nature. But it works fine on its own as long as it can communicate at 100%. It's when we start to interfere with it and we put kinks on the hoses in your body that create this life flow that we get issues. Do you think emotional stresses create blockages in this system? Yeah. Physical stresses do too, right? Chemical stresses do it too, right? If I sit at a chair for 2 hours a day and that's all I'm doing, or I'm texting like this, or some of you've come in and you're telling me about an issue in your body, and then we find out that somebody died in your family. Or we find out that you had a tough day at work, or something changed financially for you and you're stressed out. And sometimes we don't make the connection. We do when we're sitting here, but then when it happens to us, we think that it's like some foreign thing and there's no way it could happen to us. And we all do that, don't we? Can anybody relate to that? Yeah. We all do that. So as we kind of venture in to talk about detoxes, I just want you to remember that. I want you to remember that the brain to the body communication is the most important thing. And I'm going to hammer that in 1,000,000 times over. Because there's a couple of times in the last 2 weeks that, people have turned to antibiotics in some cases. I'm not faulting those people, but they didn't know. Or they rushed to the hospital, which, hey, if you think you should go, go. I'm not telling you not to go. But if we make that one phone call and we talk about it, maybe you need to go, maybe you don't. And if you're ever questioning it, go. By God, go. And then come here after. Let's talk about it. Let's get that system working at 100%. There's been a couple other things I'm trying to remember. There were a couple other little things that happened this week where people just didn't know what we were willing to do to help them. I mean, I have people that just had surgeries, and they're still coming in. They're like, is it going to help me to come in the day after a surgery? I said, absolutely. If you're able to drive and get here. Because what does the brainstem do? Heal some things or all things? So you think it's a good idea to make sure that's in the right place? Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. And so I just wanted to make that important little, what's the word? Separation between what's actually doing the job and what's not. Doesn't matter what you put in if that nerve can't communicate with the stomach, if the liver can't get full communication, and if the adrenal glands and the rest of the organs can't get full communication. Doesn't matter what you're eating, doesn't matter what you're putting on your skin, or how many downward dogs you're doing. Okay? All that stuff is great, but it's not going to allow innate to work. Okay? So really important things to remember. So, before we get into this, I want to do one thing. I always change it up anyways. Cool, I got a blue pen up here. I was worried. I didn't tell her to leave any pens up here. So, anybody seen this before? Stomach, or heard me talk about it? Anybody heard me talk about the connection between your stomach, your adrenals, and your liver? No. Okay, well, beautiful. Praise God. Glad I covered this one first, right? So, why we're talking about detoxes tonight is because anytime, I'll scoot it over, Dave. Sorry, the gunny's like, I got a sergeant major and a gunny in here, man. I'm protected, man. Got a bunch of Marines in here right now. So nobody's coming in and doing some, break in on this place right now. So stomach, adrenals, and liver. All right? So when we have an issue emotionally, chemically, and physically in our body, one of these is going to be affected. I'm just here to tell you. If you get stressed, the organ that deals with stress, like if you get emotionally stressed, you guys ever notice if you have a lot of stress, you start, in some cases, you might get a migraine or a headache, or you might start to feel pain in your stomach? But isn't it funny, and I just said this a second ago, that we don't make the connection between the thought and the pain in our stomach? I mean, we do when we're in here and we're doing NET, right? Neuro-emotional technique. I just had a lady on Saturday, like literally she was in tears. And she told me I was a good old boy, right? Which is like the biggest compliment you can give an Alabamian, right? That's like the biggest compliment. I'm like, how does she's from California, how does she know about good old boy, right? I almost got all teared up, right? And we were teared up and crying together for a little while. Because after 30 years of being married to a man, she's finally able to like stand up and ask for what she wants, and she's not getting bulldozed anymore. She's not getting bulldozed anymore. She's asking for what she wants. He wants to kind of stay put and just be the same, and she wants to change and transform. Because this isn't just about like a physical change, guys. It's an emotional and chemical one too. And this circle is where it starts. It starts in your brain, but the chemicals outside influence this circle. Your thoughts influence this circle. Because when we get that stressed thought, that thought when we turn on CNN or some of these networks or whatever, right? And you hear about 20 people died at the taco stand because somebody got mad because they didn't get hot sauce, right? And you hear about that stuff, right? That's going to affect your adrenal glands. What that does is put you in a fight or flight state. That's just like, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, I'm not comparing the two, but it's to us and our systems, depending on what our life experiences have been, that's just like a soldier, Marine, airman, whoever that goes to combat. We can be, do you think my dad kicking me down the stairs, from my perspective, as a little boy, was just like somebody in their 20s or 30s in combat? Yeah, for my experience it was. And I'm not comparing the two, but I'm comparing the two based on the perceptual reality of that individual. Does that make sense? So when you have a stress, your body goes, oh, I'm in the woods, I'm running from the bear's trying to kill me. And that's when your adrenal glands start releasing a negative chemical called cortisol. Cortisol throws off dopamine and serotonin, the happy chemicals in your body. So what does your stomach do? Starts to tighten up because you're stressed. What do you start to get over time? Bloating, gastric reflux. You may only go to the bathroom one time per day. I always use the example, if you're in a combat scenario, and I don't know what that's like, I never went to combat, some people in this room know what it's like, but imagine just even police, guys, and these shootings you hear about. If somebody's shooting at you, are you worried about going number 2 and having a bowel movement? Probably not. So it's kind of a blessing, right? Like imagine if all the Marines or the soldiers or Navy personnel or whatever, the guys in the fighter jets, a battle or war's going on, they're like, hold on, I got a break, I got to go number 2. Excuse me, I hope you don't mind. Bad guy, just stop for a minute. Time out. I got to go to the head and go number 2. Doesn't really work that way. And that would be pretty scary if it did work that way. For so many reasons, right? So the body, God, innate within you, the universe, whatever you want to call it, designed it perfectly so the body, when you feel stress, says, time out. We're going to turn off rest and digest, and now you're going to be in stress. The problem is, some people never get out of this. They stay in that stress. And now what about liver? Do you think liver's going to try to bail the body out, or bail the stomach out, or detoxify the body? Because if I can't go number 2, am I assimilating and breaking down all my foods at 100%? So are they eventually, do they go away by themselves or do they ferment? They're going to ferment. in the stomach, right? And so over time, if you get enough fermentation, right, we start to get a lot of negative bacteria in that stomach. It's called pathogenic bacteria. Okay? It's the food that's not broken down, but the other problem you have when that food's not broken down, there's usually an HCl imbalance in the stomach. And that's where we start to get that pathogenic bacteria. Because we don't get it, we have to have a certain amount of hydrochloric acid in our stomach to break our food down. If that amount is off, that fermentation is going to occur. So we kind of got a double-edged sword there. So everybody tracking? Okay. So then the liver is going to bail the stomach out. Now, what else is going to kind of add to this loop, right? Kind of this breakdown loop, as I call it, or these brothers and sisters that are arguing between one another, right? What's going to add to it? Are chemical stresses going to add to it? So name some chemical stresses. What about, cleaning products, right? There's certain cleaning products. What about cosmetics, ladies? And you look on it and you can't pronounce the word. You're like paraben and phthalate and anabolate and whatever, right? Yellow dye number 7 in the foods. Natural flavors. You always know that it's like total crap if there's natural flavors written on it, right? All those things are going to add into that, right? And I'm going out of order, but I always do that anyways. I'm going to go back to this in a minute. I'm going in reverse because I work off of innate too. So, internal. Why do we detox? Well, we got these internal things that are breaking up that liver, that stomach, and adrenals. They're causing havoc to that liver, stomach, and those adrenals. And it doesn't matter which one happens first. These negative chemicals are going to affect every internal system. So the internal negative things that are caused by these external products like household cleaners, cosmetics, insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, every side you can think of, food additives and preservatives. What do you guys think? High fructose corn syrup, is that good? MSG. Do we need to have a bunch of that? MSG. Yep. We don't want high fructose corn syrup. We don't want MSG, right? What about sucralose or aspartame? Some of you in here are drinking diet products. Stop now. Stop immediately. Okay? Sweet and low. Right? Yeah, it's sweet and it's really low because it'll give you cancer. Right? There's all these negative things out there, right? You got the, what's the blue one? Equal. Right? Same thing. If you see sucralose, S-U-C, sucralose. I can't remember. You guys can look it up. I don't want to mess it up because then somebody will make fun of me, right? Sucralose is S-U-C-R... And I don't know, Caden or Dr. Tanya will figure it out in a minute. What's that? S-U-C-R-A-L-O-S. Well, there you go. Spelling bee winner right there. I love it, man. Sucralose. Get him, Jimbo. So yeah, sucralose or aspartame. Any type of diet product, you can almost guarantee it's going to have, or no fat product is going to have that in there. It is a neurotoxin. It's toxic for the brain. So when we, some people are like, oh, don't worry about it, doc. For my migraines, I just took Botox. And you see the ladies on the news, they're like smiling and their eyebrows are like this. She's got a smile like her eyebrows never move, right? Well, that was great for her eyebrows. I don't know why you would want to look like a clown, the entire news program, right? But then on top of that, it's killing her brain. It's killing her brain. And I honestly don't think it's attractive. No expression at all. You're in your 80s and your husband says, I love you, honey, and you're like that? That's like kind of scary to me. But at any rate, pharmaceuticals and antibiotics, hormones, those things are in some of the food products out there, right? Nitrates, nitrites. And you guys have heard some of this before, but I really want you to see on a higher level what it's doing to your body. I really want you to see on a bigger level what it's doing to your body. Because 20% of all people have liver dysfunction and don't know it. 21,000 people die every year because of liver cancer. And that might not seem like a big stat, right? Might not seem, but 20% of the billions of people on the planet that have liver dysfunction and don't know it, what are the other 2 organs that are going to be impacted by that 20% liver dysfunction? Stomach and what else? Adrenals. Yeah, kidneys. The adrenals sit on top of the kidneys. So if you stag kidneys, you're still right. You got an A-. The A+ is the adrenals, right? So Chlorine and fluoride in drinking water. What else? Okay. Well, I like tap water because it has other people's antibiotics. It has their, what else does it have? It has their depression, anxiety medication. It has their birth control, their high blood pressure medication. What else? The hormones from the animal that was strangled and the bird that, can you imagine these birds? And I'm not saying these birds that they put them in there and like the other birds eat and other birds poop because they're so next to each other like this, like Quasimodo in the cages and stuff. And then the bird comes out, imagine being incarcerated, and I'm not doing a PETA video right now, right? But imagine being incarcerated and you feel like you're about to get murdered, and then we're going to kill that animal, and then we're going to eat it. Do you think we're getting some negative chemicals out of that?
Yep.
Imagine that. Like, seriously, guys. And this isn't wherever you stand. I mean, I'm an animal lover, but I used to go deer hunting, too. Because there's tons of deer that die every year because they're overpopulated. You go and eat the meat. You eat all the meat, right? That's very different. Doing something for that reason is very different than mass production just for revenue. And now you're taking these and you're trying to make super chickens that last forever, right? So you're injecting them. Hey, we'll just put this steroid in there. So this chicken's going to have a foot that is like 5 feet long and a leg and a breast. This is like super chicken. You're like, it's 10 pounds heavier than the normal chicken. Okay, great. And now what's the meat going to be? The meat's going to be garbage. It's going to be absolute garbage. Because there's all those hormones and additives in that meat. It's not pure. So what does your body recognize it as? What does innate in your body say? Does it welcome it in, or does it say, you know what, this is foreign to me? Yeah, it says it's foreign. This is not like of me. My body can't receive that. It'd be like if you ate wood, right? Your body can't break down wood. Here, let's go chew on a stick. Your body's not going to break that down. But that's what we do when we put high fructose corn syrup in our body, when we're doing gluten, when we're doing a lot of dairy, and this is where my wife and I disagree. Whether it's raw or otherwise, you can look at the stats on it. There's a huge amount of people that are negatively impacted by dairy, even raw dairy, which my Weston A. Price people totally believe in. It causes inflammation in the stomach and gut. We're the only animal that drinks another animal's milk. You don't see goats going around and trying to suckle on a human's nipple, right? This doesn't happen, right? They're going out and doing their own thing, right? I'm serious, guys. And I'm trying to make you laugh, of course, right? I always do that, lighten the mood a little bit. But you have to be aware of that. Do you see a raccoon chasing after a cat's nipple? Teeth? No. Anybody seen Meet the Parents? They're talking about Greg and the cats. And I'm not going to go into that. You're getting a little chuckle if you know the part, because it's a little R-rated, I would say, right? But seriously, little jinxie cat, right? And then what Robert De Niro says is hysterical. If you haven't seen that movie, that will definitely elevate your dopamine and serotonin, because you will laugh hysterically, okay? Just, it is a little R-rated, so make sure if you don't want the kids to see that, maybe watch it beforehand, right? But seriously, we've got all these things that cause chemical stresses. Now, what about air pollution? Yeah. When I was doing my research for this talk, because I always do that for you guys think I just come out here and let it fly, right? No, not really. I always do a lot of preparation on it. Did you know that the starfish in Washington State and Dana Point are becoming extinct? That there's 7.9 million birds that are dying every year? Why am I telling you this? Why am I talking so much about wildlife and fish and stuff? The sea lions? Because what's happening in the ocean and the water is a huge product of how much pollution there is. And the 7.9 million of the birds are from coal mines. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't do coal production. Don't get all political on me. Okay, whatever your opinion is. The reason why I'm bringing that up, though, is because what I want you to understand is, if that's happening to our wildlife, how toxic is your body?
Right.
And how do you know? You only know unless you're getting it checked and you're doing something about it. I mean, I'm in here and I'll put myself up against a lot of people in here, and I should be this way because I'm your coach and I'm kind of the authority in here, right, as far as knowledge, but I don't know everything. I'm always learning. And I'm still going to start from now on doing a detox twice a year. I'm still going to do that. Because I had 4 people die of cancer. Almost lost my mom 2 years ago. And this stuff, and you'll hear me say this a million times, I'm going to say it 1,000,001. Think of your health like a bucket. And when you get too many chemical, physical, emotional stresses, if we're not emptying that bucket, at some point, critical mass is going to happen in your body, and your body is going to have a negative reaction to that. At some point. The body can only go so long. You know, it's like that car, and that oil light's been on, right, for days and months. You know, my niece is a funny story. She saw the oil light come on, right? And she waited like 3 weeks or 2 months, or I forget when it was. Some abnormal amount of time. Might have even been like 5 months. And then it started smoking. And she burned the engine out. So that's what. I'm sure my brother-in-law was really happy about that, right? $5 or $8 grand for a new engine, new car, whatever it was, right? So the longer we ride and we act like there's not a light there and like the body's not trying to warn us, the worse that problem's going to get. So you see the internal factors? Oh, I'm going to go over these real quick. So when we don't detox, what do we get? We get cellular waste products internally. We get used hormones, right? Which meaning our hormones can't work appropriately. The neurotransmitters are shut down, right? Because that's what all these negative chemicals do. We get the pathogenic bacteria that I already talked about. Cellular degeneration, because when there's all that debris in our body, the body starts recognizing that debris is foreign. So the cells start going through a process called phagocytosis, where they start eating each other, right? So you get cellular degeneration. Now, what else can cause internal issues in our body? Amalgams. What is that? I don't even know what that is, Doc. Mercury fillings. That's what it is. So if you've got mercury fillings in there, we need to really talk about that and talk about investing. Most important thing is your nervous system. Most important thing. So if you're doing that, that's the first step. The next step as you're maintaining that nervous system is going to be doing what you need to do to get those fillings out. I had mine taken out about 3.5 years ago. And the American Dental Association, man, they're going to tell you up and down, you're going to be fine. Praise Jesus, it's fine. There's no evidence. But then they tell a pregnant mom that she shouldn't have mercury in a can of tuna because of the side effects what it could do to the baby. And then they tell you to take a flu shot right before the baby's born. Things that make you scratch your head, right? Never get that one. So ammonia and carbon dioxide and free radicals. So when we get all this bad stuff internally built up, this is what the body manifests and creates. Is everybody tracking? Anybody confused? Okay. Everybody got a packet, right? Packet, clipboard, and there's a little note thing on the back. Some of you don't want to ever take notes, but hey, right? It's there for you if you want to. And you're going to utilize some of these sheets, and I'm going to talk about one of them in just a second, okay? So, a generation ago, two primary things were different. The quality and nutrition value or nutritive value of food was superior to now. So our nutrition was different years ago, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. What we had in plants and radishes that we ate, in beef and cattle and salmon, whatever we were eating or consuming had a higher nutritional value. You know, I've seen some studies that have said the nutritional value we're getting now is 50% less than what it was just 20 years ago. Think about that, guys. Think about that. So every time you eat, you're not getting what your body needs to make that BMW. You're not getting it. And then you're stepping outside and you're inhaling barium and aluminum from the atmosphere because they're doing stuff to mess with the climate control. Oh, there's no way that's happening, Doc. I mean, you can look at the research. There's videos online that shows what happens when a mercury filling starts to break in somebody's mouth. So I'm not telling you to slit your wrist right now. What I am telling you to do is be aware. Be conscious. We need to wake up. All these beautiful things on the sides of the wall look really nice. Doesn't this look nice? Oh man, he's got this beautiful wooden thing. And I better not touch it. It's so neat. No, I want you to touch it. Grab some. Lady came in. I thought she was going to get a suitcase today. She's all paranoid, like she's shoplifting or something. I'm like, no, grab them. Take as many. Bring a suitcase in here. Load them up. That's the research to change your life and change your family's life. That's why it's here. There's some in the bays too. Right? And I'm like doing like a victory lap whenever I see somebody grabbing for one. Yes. Right? Because it means somebody else, they're going to read it, and they might use it for paper, right, to wipe their tail with, TP. right? But at least they read it, hopefully, before they did, or they handed it to somebody else, right? Levels of toxicity in our environment. Food and water were drastically lower, right? So the levels of toxicity that we had, just like I covered with the seals, the starfish, it wasn't what it is now. Think about the GMOs, the super burgers. Anybody seen that, where the hamburger stays out for like 3 years? And you guys are like, that must be good to put in my body. No, we don't want that in our body. I mean, seriously, guys, the stuff you put on your clothes, detergent, right? You got to start looking at the labels on this. And there's sites now where you can rate products of what you're putting in your body. There's sites that do that. And I'm not telling you to get stressed out about it. That's not what it's about. It's creating awareness. Because epigenetics is all about saying, I'm going to do something different than what my parents did. And that's the difference between people that have the outcome of cancer. Well, I'm worried that I'm going to have cancer because my mom had cancer. Well, that's not what the research says. What the epigenetical research says out there by Dr. Bruce Lipton is, if you make a different choice about your health now, and you're all doing that by being in here and getting your nervous system working, and then we add in the emotional stress protocols, and we do everything the doctors are telling us, and we come to classes like this, then we're going to add years to our life and life to our years. We don't have to be in fear because we're in action to change it. Does everybody get that? It's a really, really important thing. I'm not telling you to go in and throw everything out in your refrigerator, right? And I'm not telling you to stress out about this, but I am saying let's start creating awareness, having a conversation, and slowly changing things. Now for 21 days, as we get into this detox a little bit more, you're going to have to change it for 21. But since we spent so much time, a lot of you, working on your nervous system, and now you're just now deciding to do it, how do you think your body's going to respond?
Well,
you're going to feel, you're going to feel like you're 20 again, right? Some of you are going to be like Stella got her groove back. Go out and buy a Corvette, get your hair all good, right? And you're just going to feel amazing. That's what it's about. So it's not just about a physical change and your butt feeling good or your hip. It's about your neurology feeling good. Because when people get a health change, they get a life change. And that's what I'm all about. I'm all about that lady that she called me a good old boy, and we were in tears together this past weekend. That's the juicy stuff of life, isn't it? That's the good stuff, man. And I want everybody in here to have that. So let's see what we got here. Okay, we already talked about the birds. If you're Italian, you're like my friend, Dr. Hatrack, the birds. He works on the eagles. Amazing guy. He's one of my best friends. Okay, so what do most cleanse products consist of? Psyllium husks and what other things? Well, they usually consist of different types of like diuretics. So what does a diuretic do? Cleans you out, right? So you might be full of poop, right? And it's going to clean that out, but it's not going to do really anything else for like your kidneys, your lungs, your adrenal glands, your stomach, your liver, your large intestine, your small intestine. All it's doing is getting certain areas cleansed, but it's not adding nutrition, organic nutrition, to the organs to get them properly functioning. So if you're doing a juice cleanse or something like that, I'm not saying you're not helping yourself. For a 2-day period or maybe a week-long period, you'll feel good, but you're not at a cellular level removing that negative bacteria and those negative byproducts that are in those different organs and changing physiology. Does everybody see the difference? And now what do you think? If you're taking something synthetic, and I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, there's a lot of well-intended people that just don't know, okay? That are making some products that are synthetic, and people that are also taking them or selling them. So I don't want to throw any companies or people under the bus, but if you look on the back and you can't pronounce the name, and you know it didn't come from a farm, then somebody's in there, right? I just see two chemists, right? Like the Muppets. Beaker, the chemist, right? He's rolling around, he's mixing up chemicals, right? And he's saying, here's a little chemical cupcake. I hope you enjoy it, right? And what is that doing to your body? It's causing your body to be in a state of inflammation, okay? And dysfunction creates disease, all right? So, what do they not include? It says all that right there. I already covered that. Good stuff. Look at me. Man, rolling. Okay, health, weight loss. So here's the packet. Everybody pull out your packets. You're like, I threw mine away. I used it for that poo-poo paper like he was talking about. I didn't know he was going to talk about it. Changing your metabolism, preferred source of fuel. Changing your metabolism, preferred source of fuel. I want you to pull these rascals out. Okay. So, who here has done like a diet before? A fad diet. How many people have done a diet in here? All right. What always happens when you get off that diet? Okay. So, this is like the what's the word? This is your shrine right here. Because on top, what it shows is it shows that process of what fad diets do. It says fat stored to protect from impurities. You get on the diet. The smaller body means increased percentage of impurities. And then your body rebounds. The body senses increased impurities and goes into emergency fat production rebound. And so what do? Because you're going into rebound, your body needs more sugar to make energy. Because your body at that point in time can't naturally do it. The liver at that point in time is so dysfunctional, it's incapable of doing it. So you want more food, more carbs, more sugar, and so you gain the weight back. And that's the simple way of saying it. I could use a bunch of glucagon and gluconeogenesis, and some of you would be giving me 5 eyes, right? So that's the simple way of talking about it. Now look below that. Fat stored to protect from impurities, cleanses the impurities, and they're released so the body sheds fat. Better overall health with less fat and more lean muscle. So essentially, instead of you craving those carbs, instead of you craving that sugar, what the body now says is it doesn't need the energy because it's burning fat to get the energy. Because you're giving the body organic, whole foods-based nutrition, your nervous system is aligned at 100% so innate can get those neurotransmitters and those nerve receptors through to the stomach, and so your body just starts pulling off the weight, shedding off the pounds. And some of you in here, especially ladies, I get ladies all the time, they're like, Doc, we haven't changed anything. I've lost 5 or 10 pounds. Just getting my Atlas rock, and just getting my brainstem and my nervous system working. How's that possible? Well, what does your brainstem control? What system in your body? Your metabolic system. And every other system for that matter, right? So if I pull you from a weird parrot bird to a normal functioning system, then you can get, instead of being 30% deficient in oxygen, you can get 100% oxygen. Does anybody know what the Krebs cycle is? Fancy way of saying metabolic cycle again. Now I threw a doctor word. It's like people think it's more believable if it sounds more complicated, right? That's so true, don't they? We all think that. You know, spinal meningitis. I don't know what that is, but he sure sounds smart, right? So, where was I? Lost my train of thought. Krebs cycle. Okay, so Krebs cycle is metabolism. All right, it's basic metabolism in your body, and that process runs off of oxygen. So if you've got forward head, you're crushing the ability for the body to produce as close to 100% of the oxygen as your body is capable of producing when innate can flow at 31, 42, and 0. Everybody tracking on that? Okay. So keep that handout, because that handout's really good just to remind you of what you need to do to be successful, all right? And what your body is going to do when we get it in the right place chemically, physically, and emotionally. So that's why I always tell you, these emotions, guys, the breathing, the NET, it's just as important as anything else. The neurology is the most important, but all these things tie in, okay? So if you're not doing your stuff consistently, if you're doing some of the things I asked you to do 50% of the time, what's your result percentage going to be? You're going to be an F student, okay? I'll rephrase that. You'll be D. Nobody in here is an F, right? The yahoos out there are looking around and they're like this, right? Those are the F students. We still love them. We're praying for them, right? But we need to get them checked. We need to get them checked. All right, let's see here. What did I write here? Got my little notes going on here. Okay, so what do you think my detox is going to do? And I say my detox because it's yours. I want you to take ownership of it. What's this detox going to do? Do you think if you have high blood pressure, that blood pressure is going to go down? Do you think if you have a lot of bad cholesterol, that cholesterol is going to go down? Absolutely. What else is it going to do? Some of you with chronic fatigue or autoimmune conditions, right, where the body's attacking itself, the depression and anxiety that you're feeling, the low energy you feel at the end of the day, the gastric reflux and bloating that you have, right, the hives and rashes you get, the allergies you've had over a period of years that never go away. Since we have innate going and that nervous system working, the detox is going to add, instead of those scrap parts, those good parts for your body to be able to get those organs functioning and get the nutrition that it needs to function. See, that's what the herbs and nutrition do. So when you're taking like 9 a day or something, a liver product or whatever the case might be, right? When you're doing that and taking those amounts, that's because that's what it takes for that nutrition to get through to 20, 40, 60 years or 80 years of internal dysfunction and physiology that's been distorted, warped, and damaged. So we got to rebuild that. So that's why it takes 21 days and it takes a process to do that. You can't just drink a couple of juices, right? Oh, it's got berries in it. Tastes great, right? Great, well-intended people, right? We have juice stuff here. We have best friends that own juice companies and stuff, right? But what I'm here to tell you is I'm not a proponent of that from a detox perspective, and the research supports it. It's kind of like just a temporary cleanse for the body. Better sleep, better moods, insulin resistance. So if you've had insulin resistance, do you think your liver is like kind of like next door neighbors with your pancreas? Yeah, it is. Your liver actually produces cholesterol. So I always think it's funny when somebody's on a cholesterol medication, a statin that destroys the liver, and they expect that their cholesterol is going to get better. It's really crazy, right? And not to mention the statins, there's like multi-billion-dollar lawsuits that have been going on for the last 20 years on statin drugs. So when we detox the liver is able to produce the right amount of cholesterol for your body. And what that also does is open up those insulin receptor sites that were closed off because you were eating so much sugar and so many processed carbs to get energy. After you get so much sugar in the blood, do you think is the pancreas going to be in a state if it's having to constantly pull glucose out of the blood and put it in the cell? And I mean, eventually it's going to get tired, right? That's kind of like if you have to go to combat and you never get a break, right? And I don't know if you've ever seen some of these war movies, right? But it seems like these guys are fighting for days, right? Why do I keep talking about the military? Because I'm a former Marine, right? So you see these guys, they have to fight for days. Eventually they're going to get tired, right? And then that's usually when somebody gets hurt, right? Or they get shot. Because their ability to resist has gone down because they've been at it for so long. Your pancreas is the same way. If it's got to constantly fight to pull that glucose out of the blood and put it in the cell, eventually those receptor sites, I can't say sites shut off, and then what happens? They call you diabetic. That's what they say. Okay, you're a type 2 diabetic. Here, take this drug the rest of your life. Oh, what's the side effect of the drug? Oh, lymphoma. Okay, I'm going to trade in my diabetic problem for cancer. What a great trade. Door number 2, Alex. No thank you, right? I want to be healthy. I want to be whole naturally. Let's see here. I already covered that. So, essentially what we're talking about here, guys, is working with the body instead of against the body. When we start to cleanse these organs, brother and sister can start to communicate with one another, and the organs can start to work together. If I'm doing a cleanse, that's not happening. I'm doing just that. I'm getting a cleanse of one organ, but I'm not allowing the systems, neurotransmitters, and other organs that are dysfunctional, lungs, kidneys, liver, pancreas, adrenals, stomach, to start communicating together more efficiently and effectively. And that's what this detox does. It combines whole foods-based nutrition and herbs so that we can start extracting some of those byproducts and pathogenic bacteria out of the cells and putting good stuff in. And that's why your body starts to self-correct. Because you've neurologically been doing the right things for your nervous system, so your body's primed for that. Now we just kind of got to hit a reset button. So the nutrition and the herbs are going to allow that reset button in the organ itself to occur. And when we adjust your atlas, if we team the atlas up with the detox and reset that's occurring in the organ, man, we kind of got a national championship for the 6th time, don't we? We got a national champion for the 6th time if we do that. And that's what I'm talking about. I want everybody in here to be a national champion of your health. And that's totally possible if we follow these steps, okay? There's one more sheet in there that I want you to look at. Don't fill it out today, because some of you will be looking down at that instead of looking up at me, right? And I don't want you to miss anything. But it talks about, it's a diet cost assessment worksheet. And it talks about how many coffees you're drinking, how many energy drinks you're drinking, the cost of that, the alcohol you consume, the soft drinks, if you're like Killian Breen, the amount of Snickers bars you're eating, desserts, fast food, and dining out. I was really proud of my brother-in-law, though. Over the holidays, he did Orange Theory with me.
Wow.
Orange Theory. And I tried to do a live Facebook feed and a review to make fun of him. So he's trying to lose a lot of weight, and he would do the same thing to me, and he wouldn't let me. So go figure, right? So that's why we can't, But I wanted to make fun of him a little bit, but he wouldn't allow it. So at any rate, so what is this for? This is to show you and try to get you to do a cost and benefit analysis of what's happening or not happening in your body and what it's going to take to get you better. Because some of you are doing this and you don't want to do the detox because you're like, oh, well, that's too expensive. Well, how much are you spending for this? How much are you spending on this? Tally it up. Tally it up, folks. You'll be amazed at how much you're spending on all these things that are counterproductive for your health. Can adjusting the brain and spinal cord and getting your nervous system working overcome that? Yeah, it can. But things are a whole of a heck lot different than they were 2 generations ago, like we already discussed. So do we want to take our chances with cancer, or do we want to make sure to prevent it? So there's a whole slew of things I'm going to go over in just a second that the kit, or the detox kit, includes. All right? The cost of it is $300. If you saw something different, we had an advertisement that went out and it was an erroneous one and there was an administrative error on it and all that, I'm going to honor the price you saw. I'm not going to do that to you, okay? We messed up. It's not your fault. It's ours. All right? So you tell me privately if you saw a different price, and I know nobody in here did. I know the price. So if you're like, oh, it's $2. I saw $2. Yeah, probably not. I'm sure you didn't see that, okay? But I want to make you guys laugh. So fill this out so you know and you can get perspective on that. Let's see here. Why standard process? I kind of already covered that. Okay. Organic, whole foods-based stuff and herbs that are from the earth versus somebody mixes. It's 20%, Boswellia. Wonder what the other 80% is. Well, that means it's not from the earth. So somebody's mixing it and brewing it, right? So whole foods-based nutrition that comes from a farm and comes from plants or something that a chemist did in a lab somewhere. So how will the cleanse work in the office? Okay, I had to make an outline. There were so many steps and I didn't want to forget it. How's the cleanse going to work in the office? Well, if you've done this before, at one point you know that we didn't have a really good structure for it. People still got good results, but we didn't have a great structure for it. So this year I said we're turning over a new leaf. And what's going to happen, in addition to the packets you got tonight, if you decide to do the cleanse, what we're going to do is you're going to get an instruction booklet that, it's so in-depth. And I had one patient tell me, well, doc, you don't even have to do a class on this. If you read this booklet 3 times, it kind of explains everything to you and for you. But people like being coached. People like being coached, and people sometimes when they get sometimes people get scared, right? Because what do you think the 2 most common side effects of a detox is? Okay, it might hurt. I want to rephrase that. Why does the detox hurt, though? It's getting rid of toxins. So if you have a bunch of toxic stuff that's causing inflammation and degeneration in your body's happy to get it out, but if you've had it in there for 20, 40, 60 years, your body's got to do a lot to purge it. Does that make sense? The 2 most common things that we experience with the detox are headaches and constipation. Do we have ways to curb that and get past that? Absolutely. What do? Well, the first thing we do is we make sure for the first 7 days, from now, if you decide to do it, to the 18th, that we're slowly, everybody listen, everybody ready? Slowly. Notice how I said don't come completely off, but slowly. Okay, this is like when I talk about medications, because I told a lady to slowly titrate off medications with her medical doctor and asked the medical doctor for his advice. And I said it like 3 times that. Next day she's like, oh, I just quit taking my high blood pressure medication. She'd been taking it for like 15 years. I'm like, no, goofball. You got to talk to him, you silly rabbit. Right? So, yeah, you want to slowly do things. So, for 7 days from the 11th to the 18th, what we're going to do, and I'm doing this cleanse with you. That's the part that some of you were waiting for. I should have said that at the beginning, right? You probably would have listened more intently, right? So, from the 11th to the 18th, starting tomorrow, I'm going to start drinking less of my 1 espresso. Tomorrow I'm going to have half a 1. Okay? Probably 2 or 3 days I'll have half a 1. And then after 3 days or 4 days, I'm done. No more. Now, not to call anybody out, but if you're doing 15 Diet Cokes, let's say, then what you got to do is you got to start, you're going to probably go to like 13 tomorrow, and then you're going to go to 11, right? And you're going to slowly do that. Now, it's going to be a process, and praise God that this beautiful person is totally open and willing to do that and knows that she needs to do it. And I was so proud of her today when she told me that and when she was so excited about doing it. Doc, I know this is going to work. I'm excited about doing it, right? And she might be one of the people like turning her hair blonde and going to get the Corvette. I don't know. We'll see, right? Who knows? So we're going to start that. We're going to go down. In her case, she's going to go down 2 a day, right? Until she gets to 0. Okay? In your case, it might be alcohol too. Titrate off of it. Hopefully you're not having more than like a drink a night if you're having a glass of wine or something. But we want to titrate slowly. And there's no method to that necessarily, guys. You just slowly do it. If you were at, I mean, does everybody kind of see the examples I'm giving? It's a slow process. Just make sure, I would say by the 17th, you need to be really close to the end of the process or totally done with it. Does that make sense? So maybe the 17th, if you were drinking 5 cups of coffee, which I really hope nobody in there is doing that, then you're maybe off your, I don't know, what's tomorrow? Friday. So you would maybe do 5. Well, actually, you would do maybe 4.5, 3.5. You could do it like that. You definitely could, as long as you finish by the 17th. Everybody tracking? The other thing we're going to do to release some of the negative impacts, man, I'm slurring all sorts of stuff tonight, to prevent us from having some of those negative impacts tonight through the cleanse or detox, is we're going to do liver support, okay? So we're going to put a lot of good nutrition in for the next 7 or 8 days, and some of you have been doing it. If you're on like 6 Ligaplex or AF Beta food, those are the 2 products I'm going to recommend that you get tonight if you're going to do this detox. And I'm going to have you take 9 of those. So 3 times a day, you're going to be taking 3. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 9 a day means you split it up into AM, lunch, and PM. Everybody tracking on that? Doesn't matter which one you do, Livaplex or AF Beta food. We bought a bunch of AF Beta food, okay? And by the way, we already have 4 people on this detox right now. They couldn't come to the class tonight, but they've already started the process.
They're too sick.
So, how are we going to, yes ma'am. Yes, can I, yeah, I can do that real quick. And then I'm going to finish up, and then I'll do questions at the end. But if it relates to this and it's quick, I don't mind doing it all. So Livaplex, any type of plex, you hear us say that, conjuplex, right? Livaplex, adrenalplex, thisaplex, iaplex, right? All this stuff. If it's a plex, it has multiple liver functioning nutrients in it, is what I'm trying to say. So, like AF Beta food is vitamin A, vitamin F, okay? And then it's B's, essentially. Okay? That's what AF Beta food is. Whereas Livaplex has all that, and then Standard Process puts some other things. I think Antranex is in there too, right? We have multiple different types of liver function nutrients in there. And that's the essential difference. So, it doesn't matter. Both are really good. Some bodies like different ones at different times. But as long as you're doing something, don't get technical on me, as long as you're doing something for your liver, you're in good shape. if you've been taking Livoplex and AMP beta food, because a lot of you, I always tell you the 3 best cancer killers are cruciferous complete, catalin, liver support, and adrenal support. 4. Okay, to take all the time. So if you're taking the Livoplex or you're taking the AMP beta food, if you're at 9, you don't have to change anything. Just do that for the next 7 days. Okay? And then what we're going to do is you're going to start to come off your regular nutritional products. Okay? And you don't have to titrate off all those, because you're going to get all these herbs and nutrients out of the food you're eating and the diet that's mandated in here, because this is going to walk you through it. There's even an app. So if you go to your app store on your phone, all you have to do is, on the Apple, I was going to say computer, right? It feels like a computer. You guys know how electronically savvy I am, right? Your computer, your mini computer, your phone, your Apple phone, if you go into the Apple App Store and you just type in standard, it comes up, standard process purification. And I really like that, because that's like a mobile book for you, and it has accountability reminders in there. Yeah, if you just put in standard, you can do it right now. If you want to do it right now, I'll slow down talking just a little bit so you can do it. But standard process purification. And you'll see it, it's got like a happy little, looks like a cute little flower or something right on the front. I'm going to my phone now, little Cordy's smiling at me. Got a picture of a little cutie bear. Yeah, it's got like a plant, or like I think it's like a sunflower. It's weird, like a sun and 2 leaves. I don't know if that, yep, that's it right there. Can you hold it up? Here, I'll hold it up. If you have, like, your eyesight's bad, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll try to do this. Maybe you gentlemen back there can zoom in on this. Jordan's already got it. He's like, I'm already on it. So, worst case scenario, if you type in standard, you should totally get it. You should totally get it. But I know, if you guys know how I am with computers, like some of you are like, I don't know why I can't stand in. It puts the stupid update on there. Microsoft update. When do you want to update? Never. Leave me alone. Let me do what I want to do, right? It's the way computers are, though. They don't listen. Darn things. So, the app is going to really walk you through the process. There's great reminders on there. You put the start date that you're going to start this detox, which is going to be on the 18th. So tonight, if you decide to do it, when you decide to do it, what we're going to do is pair you up with an accountability partner. Okay? We're going to pair you up with an accountability partner. If you're in the Marine Corps, it's not a fire team, but it could be like it's the buddy system, and not the recruiter type where they didn't join and you did. That's what happened to me, right? But so this is the buddy system, and you have somebody to hold you accountable. Okay? Every week, what Caden's going to do when you go up and you get your liver support, your AF beta food, or your Livoplex, you're also going to pay for that kit. All right? You're going to get a book. You're going to have your packets, and then you're going to pick a time. Every Thursday for the next 3 weeks, okay? With the exception, well, today's Thursday. Starting next Thursday, we'll meet for the next 3 weeks, okay? There's a morning, afternoon, and evening time. I believe the morning time is like 9 a.m. The afternoon time is 2 o'clock. Around there, I could be off by 30 minutes. Don't kill me, guys. And then the evening time, I think, is 7 o'clock or 7:15, okay? And that's the time. So if you're going to pair up with a buddy, it'd be a good idea to ask them what time they can come. All right? And if you have difficulties with that, you go and take care of your stuff, and we may randomly put you with something in that time. Okay? But if you have somebody that you especially like and you want to do it with, you can pick. Otherwise, probably the easiest thing for all of us to do, and I might have just created my own answer, is for you to just come up there, you take care of it, all that. Caden's going to write your name down, and then we'll connect a person with you that's in that time slot. In the case where I have, 3 people in a time slot, I might pull from another time slot to give you an accountability buddy. And if there's somebody missing, then, give me a call. I'll be your wingman. Okay? Yeah, I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. All right? So, some people got that corny Top Gun joke. Sorry, I had to do it. Had to pull it out. All right, what resources are available? We covered this. Okay, side effects, headaches, and constipation. So we're going to meet every week for the next 3 weeks. It's really important to remember, if you have anything that worries you, guys, schedule a special appointment. If there's something you're abnormally concerned about, fill one of these out. Because most of the time, the conversation is probably going to be longer than a couple of minutes, right? And I want to make sure that you feel heard. So that's why this form's so important. And if you don't want to fill out the form, you just say, hey, you go up front to Kaden and you say, hey, I'd like to schedule a special appointment with Dr. Williams to talk to him about the cleanse. And she'll say, okay. And she'll give you 3 different times and we'll schedule that. But the structural, what I'm going to try to do is try to get you to share your cell phone number with your accountability partner, and you guys talk each other through the process and share little things that you've learned out of this book. This book is so I'm just amazed at how guided it is. Like, you read it 3 times, like, oh, so I just buy these couple of things, right? I'm going to buy these certain types of foods. I'm going to eat these certain types of foods. And then I'm taking my shakes, right? There's a shake product that I'm going to take. There's a green food product that I'm going to take. And then there's different herbs that I'm going to take. And this book outlines what time I should take each one, what amounts I should take each one in. And it's so it's perfect. It really, really outlines it and makes it really simple for you, okay? And the app just reinforces that. So what you're going to do, we're going to give you a choice of the green food's going to be the same, the bulk that you're going to have, the bulk fiber that you're going to be taking with the kit is going to be the same. You'll have a choice to pick what type of shake you want. And what I mean is the flavor of the shake, okay? It's either going to be chocolate or vanilla. They're all going to be dairy-free. And the dairy-free ones do not include the brown rice, okay? And I will double-check that again, but I'm 99.9% sure that the dairy-free ones do not include the brown rice. And Kaden can correct me because I think I had her call today just to make sure of that, okay? So, yes, ma'am? No, I mean, some people's systems aren't necessarily good with brown rice. So, no, it's not necessarily bad, but, if we can kind of do a one-size-fits-all and people that do have an issue with brown rice, we can prevent that issue from happening. Great. What we often find is now that we start this detox process, they no longer have an allergen to brown rice or whatever the allergen is. That's the cool thing about this, guys. We're taking out the bad and putting in new. Taking out the bad and putting in new. That's why this is so incredible. What else was I going to say? Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Appointments, booklet, packet. Oh, most important part. We're doing a weight loss challenge. Okay? So there's this big thing up here, right over here. It says, let's lose 500 pounds with the 21-day purification program. Okay? And you don't have to lose 500 pounds yourself. Okay? You don't have to do that yourself. All right? We're doing that as a team. Okay? And everybody that competes, grand prize. So in order to compete, you got to do this bad boy. Everybody that competes and decides to do the 21-day challenge, starting tonight, right? Starts tonight, because you're committing to it tonight, right? You're committing to it tonight. That's what it's all about. Commitment is everything. Related to any success is a continuum. Okay? Success is about what you're doing right now to be successful, right? It's not about what you did yesterday. Okay? So today, when you commit, what will happen is when you get through the full 21 days, what we're going to do is put your name into a raffle. And the prize is you get a 4-hour massage, okay, by my massage therapist, and she comes to your house. Yeah, 4-hour massage, okay? And sometimes it'll vary. If she thinks you need 3, you get 3, right? But I'm going to pay for 4. If you can only hang with 2, nobody's going to be watching. We're not going to make fun of you. You just roll with 2, right? And you can tell everybody you did 4, and it was amazing. It changed your life, right? But she's an amazing lady. She does a technique called Reiki. So it's awesome. I mean, if you're somebody that wants her jumping off the top turnbuckle and slamming on you, it's not that type of massage. But it's amazing. And she does get deep, and I enjoy it, and I love it. And, my wife found her during pregnancy. So her name's Ruth. Amazing lady. So she's probably watching this right now. Give her a shout out. Love you, Ruth. You didn't know you were in a contest. Now you do. So that's the way that works, right? A little free advertisement there. What else we got? So we got the weight loss challenge. Okay. There's one more form I want to show you. Okay. So in your packet, you had this beautiful form. Okay? You have this beautiful form right here. In this beautiful form, it says, I, Dr. Cordy Williams, resolve to attain a healthy lifestyle and optimal weight by understanding it is essential to balance my hormones through foods I consume and to rid my body of toxins which may cause me to regain weight in the future. Today's reality. okay? And I want you to get somebody to measure all those different things, right? I mean, as far as I know, you can't measure your own chest and waist. It's a little hard, right? And sometimes you might be a little too generous, right, with your numbers, and we want to make sure this is accurate. Your hips, your system survey score, and if you need that, we can give that to you. That's a system survey you probably filled out prior to coming here. If you didn't get one, I'll give you one tonight. It's no big deal, okay? And then your toxicity score. So tonight, what I would say in the next 7 days before the 18th, fill that first part out, and then write down what you want to lose, what your expectation is. Now, I talked about how valuable this booklet is. This booklet literally gives you a pantry list of what you can eat and what you can't eat, what fruits to eat, what fruits not to eat, what oils to eat, what oils not to eat, what to buy. It gives you a grocery list. I mean, guys, I can tell you everything about it. There's a food journal in there, which I encourage you to do throughout the process. It guides you so perfectly. And at these weekly meetings, we're going to talk about this. So on Thursday, the 18th, 3 times that day, right? So I'll be really practiced. I'm going to go over each part of that booklet, just so there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, what you understand about it, and all that, okay? Some of you, if you have fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, or some major issue, okay, that you're dealing with, like if you had more than 20 symptoms, and when I adjust you, you feel like you're having a negative spiritual experience versus a positive one, and you want to hit me in the face with a spoon, then we're probably going to keep you on your supplements, your nutrition that you're currently taking now, for 8 days past the 18th. So you would be on your nutrition until the 26th. And I will address that specifically on the 18th. Okay? So all you're doing the next 7 days is detoxing from caffeine, coffee, soda, any caffeinated products. Teas, doesn't matter. Any caffeinated products. You want to start drinking and pumping a lot of water. Water is going to be very important throughout the detox. And then on the 18th, that's when you're going to get your kit. I'll probably give you your booklet tonight so you can start looking over it. Okay? And then on the 18th, it's game day. It's game day. The reason I start on a Thursday is the 4th day on Sunday is usually, sometimes it can be a toughie. Okay? The 4th day. But with what we're doing with the liver support, and what I'm going to do with some of you is I'm going to have you continue protein. Technically in the detox, I believe it's the 11th day, you'll start protein. For 11 days, you're doing other stuff. You're not doing protein. But you're eating. This is not like a POW detox. So if you're worried about walking around like a leaf, and if you're a muscular guy, oh my God, I used to have triceps, and now I look like a 2-year-old. You know, if that's your worry, that's not going to happen. If you're very lean already, all your body's going to do is tighten up. And I never met a person that doesn't want to get harder abs or a chest or a bigger chest or whatever. Right? I just haven't met one yet. Okay? So it's going to help you with that. If you've got fat to shed, it's going to help you with that too. Okay? But if you've got some of the conditions, autoimmune conditions, digestive problems, I'm probably going to keep you on your supplements, and I'll probably have you do certain amounts of protein through the entire detox, and the rest of us will just be doing no protein. I don't really have pounds I'm trying to shed, so I'm going to be eating protein. Okay? Because the last thing I want to have is some migraine or something or toxic reaction while I'm trying to serve you guys. Wouldn't really work real well, right? And you can still do that and get great benefits out of the detox. Everybody tracking on that? Okay. Caden, get out here for a minute. Tell me if I forgot anything. I'm going to put you on the spot. Love you. Did I forget anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. Dr. Tanya? Did we forget anything here? Let me check my sheets, make sure I didn't. Okay, I think we're good on that. The last little exclaimer I would give you, water's the most important thing. So what you're going to want to do is divide your body weight in half and drink that many ounces daily. Okay, and different people have different opinions about that. But divide your body weight, right, in half and drink that many ounces daily. So I weigh about 185, so I should be... 175 actually. I used to weigh 185. And so what is that? 60, 80, 90? Yeah, I don't know. About 90. I should be doing about 90 ounces a day of water. Okay, give or take a few. 87, whatever it is. 87 and a half. Got the math guy. I'm not the math guy here. Not the spelling guy or the math guy. So I'm protected over there. The last thing I would say is just remember, nervous system is the most important thing. That's what we're always doing. So if you're new in here, I didn't want you to come here and I didn't want your friend to bring you here just so you could do some detox, get better and get your diet right, and still be dysfunctioning internally, okay? If you want to do the detox, God bless you. We'll help you out with that. But what I'm also going to demand as part of you doing that detox through us, okay, because I feel like I would clinically be out of my integrity if I didn't do this, is I'm going to get you scanned and find out where there's dysfunction in your body, okay? The way that scan works is it's an infrared scan. And what we do when we do that scan is we just run it from the brainstem all the way down the cord, and it picks up heat readings bilaterally, and it shows us where this intelligence is blocked. Scoot over, son. Why are you getting in my way, mister? It shows us where this intelligence is blocked going to these organs. So do you think if you have all the things that we talked about tonight going on, you're probably going to have a lot of color on that scan? Yeah. Is it going to show up in the liver region, show up in the stomach region, show up in the adrenal region? Absolutely. So what I'm going to want to do in the next 7 days before you start that detox is get you checked and start working on you neurologically. Okay? Would it be a good idea to wait a few weeks on the detox? Yeah, definitely wouldn't hurt, right? So that if you're new here and you've never been neurologically corrected by a curve correction specialist, we can start working on that first. And since you're family and you came here with a family member, what we'll do, you just go up front to Kaden. She's going to be getting people on the detox. And what you do, you just tell her that you want to get checked and you want to get your spine checked in your nervous system, okay? And what she'll do is we'll waive the $700 exam cost for you. Okay? I'm not even going to charge you the administrative fee because you came with a family member of ours, and so you're just going to get it for free. All right? And we like doing that for people because I wish somebody would have done that for my grandparents. I wish somebody would have done that for my dad. Nobody did that for them. All the doctors were trying to do is run their insurance, right? And it ended up killing them. Okay? So I want to open it up for questions. Usually I shut it down because I'm worried about how much time, and I'm sorry that we started late tonight. One of the reasons we did, there was an accident. So I promise I actually planned it very well tonight. But God had a different plan. Okay? So I'm sorry it's 8:30 right now. Yes, ma'am.
Do you take insurance?
Absolutely, all different types. Okay. I have a billing department that handles that, and we'll definitely figure it out for you. Right. And you know the insurance game, it's kind of crazy, and that's why I call it a game, right? Because you're like, hold on, I paid like 15 grand this year, and you only cover a package of bananas at the hospital, and I got to pay for everything else. That's crazy, right? So, yeah, and then $8,000 for the ride that you got there, and all they pay for is the bananas. Cool, that's great, thank you, appreciate it. So at any rate, if you want to get checked, come up here. We'll do that. If you want to do the detox, we will start that process tonight. We'll get you teamed up with a buddy. I hope you guys got something out of this. One more time. Any questions about the detox? We can go individually. Yes, sir.
So is organic decaf coffee still, or is it?
You know, I had some other people ask me about decaf, and I want to look into that. I would like to know that. I'm going to say there's a 90% chance that you can drink your organic decaf. But I'm going to look into that, okay? I'm going to ask my functional nutritionist about that, okay? But you could probably do that. And if you're whistling Dixie, I'll do it with you, okay? So don't even worry about that. What's that?
There's more chemicals.
Well, there we go. We both learned something new. So big thing on the decaf. Sorry.
It takes more to get the caffeine out, more chemicals to get the caffeine out than it does for the recap.
Look at you, cutie bears. I love that. I did not know that. And my wife just came out like a panther, right? To share the news. Like a piranha. She's like, I got it. Open the door, right? So anybody else? Last call. Yes, ma'am. Well, we'll do a couple more calls if you got it. But I mean, yeah, you can definitely do it later. You definitely can. I just always think the first of the year, that's why we structured this around that, is a great time for commitments. And sometimes what we see and what I've seen throughout the year when we didn't do it this way last year is people start getting lured into doing other things that are maybe that they get distracted by that are less beneficial. Maybe things that are like they're basing it on price instead of effectiveness. Like if I want a steak, and you guys have heard me use this before, if I'm going to eat a steak, I'm probably going to go to Peter Luger's in New York, and I'm not so much going to go down the road to McDonald's because it's probably not steak that I'm getting there, right? Amazing steakhouse, by the way, Peter Luger's in New York, okay? Any other questions?
Do you do something like supportive of the spleen so that it will prevent the constipation or anything in that area to prevent constipation?
Yeah, so constipation is very rare, but it does happen. Usually if it happens, there's underlying digestive issues already, other things going on. And what we'll do is we do certain products that help to stimulate that part of the body, okay? A lot of cases, the reason why the person will have constipation is because they weren't getting enough nutrition. It's not really a situation of fiber. They weren't getting enough nutrition before the cleanse, and they weren't getting enough water before the cleanse or detox, okay? And so that's why their body reacts that way. It's kind of like they start putting good nutrients in, the body starts freaking out, okay? So yes, to answer your question more specifically, the herbs and the different nutrients that we're doing along with the detox do absolutely support the spleen as well as the pancreas. Okay? Anybody else?
How about water?
How about water?
Type.
Water type? Oh, beautiful question. Now, some of you like Carlsbad alkaline water. My wife loves the taste of it. I'm not a big proponent of it, and the reason why is because alkaline water is great if you have full-blown cancer. If you don't have full-blown cancer, the problem with that is it's going to make your stomach very basic. And remember what we talked about earlier related to hydrochloric acid and acidity levels in the stomach? We want it acidic so it can break down that food, right? So if I'm taking something that's going to alkalize it and make it more basic, what am I doing to the stomach's ability to break down the food? Increasing it or decreasing it? Yeah, you see that? So I'm going to recommend spring water. Palomar, I like supporting local companies. Great. I think it's a great water. Okay? People will argue the BPA thing and the plastic thing. You do the best you can. You do the best you can. I quit using glass a long time ago because after a couple of days it smelled a little gnarly. And sometimes the employees would get to clean it out. So I took the opportunity cost of mold in my water or plastic occasionally, BPA free. I'm going to go no stinky and BPA free. Any other questions? All right, God bless you guys. Here's what we're going to do. Go ahead and line up for the detox. Caden's going to get you taken care of. You'll just line up right here. If you want to line up to get checked, you're going to go see Dr. Tanya. So detox is to Caden, Dr. Tanya to get checked.
Yeah, okay.